Hello, everyone. I'm going to read a poem by a man who's reputed to be the worst poet in the English language, possibly any language. That is William McGonagle, who was born in Ireland, probably in Donegal, in 1825, and he expired in Great Britain in 1902, in Edinburgh, to be more precise. So there's a Spike Milligan film about him. But anyway, this is about the bridge between Fife and Dundee, which collapsed in 1879. So I shall read it for you and later go over some of the vocabulary. But here we go. The Tay Bridge Disaster by William McGonagle. Beautiful railway bridge of the Silvery Tay. Alas, I am sorry to say that 90 lives have been taken away on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. 'Twas about 7 o'clock at night, and the wind it blew with all its might, and the rain came pouring down, and the dark clouds seemed to frown, and the demon of the air seemed to say, I'll blow down the bridge of Tay. When the train left Edinburgh, the passengers' hearts were so light, and felt no sorrow, but Boreas blew a terrific gale, which made their hearts for to quail. And many of the passengers with fear did say, I hope God will send us safe across the bridge of Tay. But when the train came near to Warmit Bay, Boreas did loud and angry bray, and shook the central girders of the bridge of Tay, on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. So the train sped on with all its might, and bonny Dundee soon hove in sight, and the passengers' hearts felt light, thinking they would enjoy themselves on New Year, with their friends at home and they love most dear, and wish them all a very happy New Year. So the train moved slowly along the bridge of Tay, until it was about midway, and then the central girders with a crash gave way, and down went the train and passengers into the Tay, and the storm fiend did loudly bray, because 90 lives had been taken away on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. As soon as the catastrophe came to be known, the alarm from mouth to mouth was blown, and cry rang out all o'er the town, Good heavens, the Tay Bridge is blown down, a passenger train from Edinburgh, which has filled all people's hearts with sorrow, and made them for to turn pale, because none of the passengers were saved to tell the tale, how the disaster happened on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. It must have been an awful sight to witness in the dusky moonlight, while the storm fiend did laugh and angry did bray along the railway bridge of the Silvery Tay. O ill-fated bridge of the Silvery Tay, I must now conclude my lay by telling the world fearlessly, without the least dismay, that your central girders would not have given way, at least as many sensible men do say, had they been supported on each side by buttresses, which every sensible man confesses. For the stronger we build the stronger our houses we do build, the less chance we have of being killed. So there we have it. It is unutterably abysmal, because it's not remotely rhythmical. There's almost no imagery in it. It's totally unimaginative. It's really repetitive. Some of the lines are much longer than the others, and the rhymes are laboured. It's overly repetitious. You derived really no aesthetic pleasure from reciting that one or listening to that one at all. So the Silvery Tay, he's gone to the bother of having an apostrophe in silvery, so to omit the E. It's a 2-syllable pronunciation, not 3. All right, you could have silvery once, but if you have to skip out a syllable, that would suggest that's for the sake of the meter, but I don't think there is any meter to it. He might have been a passable writer of prose, I'm not sure. The last Sabbath day, Sabbath being a Sunday, of course, and then it will be remembered for a very long time. Well, this poem has echoed down the centuries Another point is, because he was an absolutely atrocious poet, people speak about him. There are many middling ability poets who are utterly forgotten. So in a sense, he has achieved the immortality he craved, though not quite in the sense that I think he was aiming at. Why did he have to bother saying 'twas about 7 o'clock at night? He could have said it was 7 o'clock at night. The about and the 'twas rather than it was, I suppose that's considered a poetic word. And mentions demon of the air with a capital D. Okay, so he's getting a little bit mystical here. The dark forces at work. And so things like when he mentions Edinburgh and sorrow, that doesn't rhyme at all. You know, hearts for to quail. He used this for to several times. It wasn't antiquated in the 19th century. I wonder if it was considered more apposite in poesy back then. Their hearts for to quail. Well, quail, I thought that was a nice touch. One of the few things decent about it. Warmit Bay, that's on the north side of the River Tay. I mean, so the south side. Dundee's on the north side. And, the Boreas did loud and angry bray. Boreas being in ancient Roman mythology the god of the north wind, and bray, obviously just making a very loud noise like a donkey. Bonnie Dundee, well, Bonnie is like handsome or beautiful in Scots. Well, there was an aristocrat, Bonnie Dundee, from that city, but he's something completely different. Wasn't around by the time this railway bridge collapsed. The storm fiend did loudly bray. So again, he's sort of personifying this wickedry. Is the only thing that's sort of remotely creative about this? Anything else to mention? And he's said it was a Sabbath day, and numerous times. I wonder if Sabbatarian thought it was divine retribution for traveling on a Sunday. And that's about it. Led on my lay, laying being an antiquated word for a song or a poem. And that's about it. Dusky moonlight, okay, that's got a tiny bit of merit. And that's all I can say for William McGonagle. Right, toodaloo.